Yeah, hello. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, family. Um, it's been a long time. This is your brother Anzansi. Yeah, coming once again to have a word with my fellow Africans. Because for some reason, still we Africans we still don't get it. We're still not getting it. Um, um, Today there is a cultural revolution going on on this planet Earth, where everybody is now, for some reason, beginning to understand or to value who they are, to appreciate who they are. But for some reason, we Africans, we still not getting it. And that's what I want to talk. That's what I want to talk about this morning. Because, as I said, the reason why we Africans are lagging behind, and the reason why nobody is not respecting us, is because we are still not getting the cultural revolution that is going on all over the world. Everywhere in the world, people are now beginning to understand or to accept who they are, to value who they are. But for some reason, we Africans, we're not ready for that. We don't want to do it. We are still walking around teaching our children to hate themselves, not accepting who we are, not appreciating our culture, not appreciating our tradition, and then expect people to value or respect us. And I think that's a very big problem we have as African people. Look all over the world. The Chinese, they are teaching their children to value their Chinese culture. The Indians, they are teaching their children to value Indian culture and Indian traditions. The Europeans, for thousands of years, they have been doing it. But you're still gonna see Africans doing everything Africans doing everything. Raskotoka Michio. Oh yeah. We're still doing everything we can to demonize who we are, to denigrate our culture, and then to put value on other people's culture and expect other people to respect us. It is never gonna work like that. It will not work. Nobody don't have the time to wait for we Africans. We have to wake up ourselves to the realization that nobody will not respect you if you don't respect yourself. And the only way you will be valued, you will be respected, is if you respect who you are, if you respect your culture, if you respect your traditions as a human being. It is as simple as that. Wherever you go, when you sit down in the table to discuss, everybody is discussing as the Indians are representing India. The Chinese are representing China. The Europeans are representing Europe. What about we Africans? What are we representing? We have no value. We have no culture. We have no respect for who we are. And then we expect other people to respect us. It's never going to be like that. And it will never happen. So until we start to put value on ourselves, until we start to put value on our culture, we cannot expect other people to respect us. It is only Africans who wake up every day teaching their children of self-hate. They said the best knowledge is knowledge of self. The best knowledge you can ever have is knowledge of yourself. But we wake up, we teach our children to love other people culture. We teach our children self-hate. And then when they grow up, we expect people to respect them. How is it going to happen? It can never happen. And I don't know why we're still not getting it. Because today, as we speak, the cultural revolution is everywhere. The only people trying to impede this cultural revolution are African people. It's rather unfortunate. The Indians doesn't teach their children any culture but Indian culture. Irrespective of what other people think about their culture, they value it. It doesn't matter you think my culture is bad, they still value it. The Chinese wake up every day teaching their children to love the Chinese culture and to put values on the Chinese tradition. Irrespective of what other people think about it, they value it. The Europeans teach their children to love European values and culture. Irrespective of what other people think about it, they respect it, they value it, because that is what nature has given to them. But we African people, we wake up every day and then we are teaching our children self-hate. We are teaching our children not to love who they are. We are teaching our children not to put any value on their culture because our culture is demonic. But we expect other people to respect us. How somebody gonna respect you when you don't value yourself? And the only way you can put value on yourself is when you put value on your culture and tradition, because that is what represents you. You cannot be wearing Chinese name, or you cannot be wearing a European name. You cannot be wearing an Arab name and then you expect an Arab man to respect you. It doesn't make sense. When are we going to get it as African people? We still don't get it. When are we going to get it? You cannot wake up and your name is John, calling yourself an European name, and then you expect the European to respect you. It is never going to happen. It wouldn't just work like that. You have to work within yourself. No matter how it is, no matter how bad your culture was, you have to wake up to the realization that it is mine and I have to put value in it. I have to respect it. And then when you respect your culture, when you respect your tradition, other people will respect you. It is as simple as that. It has always been like that and it will forever be like that. So why Africans are not getting it? We wake up every day, we are insulting each other because I'm insulting you because you are not a Christian. You are insulting me because I'm not a Muslim. And then we are insulting each other, fighting among yourselves. Demonizing who you are. And then you expect other people to respect you. It wouldn't happen. It will never happen, and the world will not wait for Africa to wake up to the realization that they must respect themselves before they will respect them. The world will not wait for you. The world is moving faster than you think. And then the only way the world will sit down in the table with you and put value on you is when you began to respect yourself and when you began to put value on yourself. And as I said, the only way you can do that is when you respect who you are, when you put value on your culture, because that is what represents you. The Chinese man culture doesn't represent you as an African. The Arab man culture doesn't represent you as an African. So the Arab man goes to the UN to sit on the table. He sat there as an Arab with Arab values, with Arab culture. The Chinese man goes to UN. He goes there as a Chinese man, representing China and the values of China. The European goes to UN, sat on the table with European values, representing Europe and the European culture. The African goes everywhere, don't know who he is. We don't know who we are. We go everywhere not representing ourselves as Africans. We go everywhere representing other people. And the president of Nigeria or a leader of Nigeria is going to UN to represent whoever, not Nigerians, because he doesn't even have the values, or he doesn't even have respect for the Nigerian culture. And as we said, every other ritual, every other culture that anybody or any race has a trace in Africa. So how on all of a sudden we, for some reason, forgot who we are, and then we adopt other people's culture, and then when people come out to tell us that it is not hate and it is nothing, it is all about let's put value for ourselves, let's respect ourselves just as other people are doing. We don't see Chinese calling themselves other people's name, adopting other people's culture. No matter what bad some people think about the Indians, they still have their culture. But we alone, we wake up, we're fighting among ourselves, ready to kill each other in the name of somebody else's culture, what somebody else tells you. That God said he should come and tell you. You see, the only way we can live a better life, or we can leave a better legacy for the next generations to come, is for us to speak the truth and tell each other the truth. The reality that the only way we can overcome our predicaments as African people is to put value on ourselves, put value on our culture, our traditions. It is as simple as that. It may not be the best. It may not be the best of culture, but it is what nature has given to us. And then we shouldn't sit down and expect other people to tell us that what we have is not good and what they have is holy. As I said, there is no any tradition or rituals, religious rituals that you find anywhere in the world that you will not find same thing in Africa. From West Africa to Central Africa, every religious rituals you will find in Israel or in Saudi Arabia, you will find it in Africa. The other day I was watching in Yoruba land in Nigeria, and they have this river that people go there to purify themselves. It's a ritual. Whilst they have the same thing in Israel. People pay money to go there, and it's holy. When we do it in Africa, Africans will demonize it and said it's demonic. Same thing there. There was this house in Volta region in Ghana, Volta, Ghana. People go there, and it is believed that when you go to that house, and then whatever problem you have, and then you go there and pray and do some sacrifice, your problems will be solved in Volta region, Ghana. And then people were there demonizing it and calling it all sorts of names. But the thing is, yeah, you may think it's bad, but that's what their ancestors left for them. But you, the same person who is claiming that this ritual is bad, you too, you will pay money, millions of dollars to go to Saudi Arabia to do the same rituals. So when somebody come out and tell you that, I am not saying what the Arabs are doing is bad. I am not saying what the Europeans are doing. They are doing it for their own good. What are you doing for your own good as an African? And then you're going to go attacking those people like that who are telling, can we really get it, black people or African people? We still don't get it. And as I said, there is a cultural revolution going on all over the world. The only people who are refusing to accept or to understand this are African people. Today, in today's world, nobody don't care who you are. All that they do is to put value, nationalism on themselves. Everybody is doing it. For some reason, we as African people, now, for us, we think that our own is demonic, our own is bad, and other people's, we should go and be second-class citizens to other people's culture and religion. And then when people come out to tell you that, you know what, I am not saying somebody else's culture is bad. All I'm saying is that nature has given everybody their way of life, their way to communicate with her. And then you're going to see people come to you, attacking you, calling for your head, telling you what they will do to you if you don't stop doing that. Should we stop telling our children, what kind of children are we intend to raise? Are we intend to raise children with inferiority complex? Because as long as you are an African who adopts other people's culture, Oliver, what are you doing here? Oliver, what do you want here, man? As long as you are an African who is walking around with amnesia, who is walking around with other people's culture, walking around with other people's tradition, walking around with other people's way of life, you are totally a second class or an inferior to that culture. As long as you adopt somebody else's culture, you are inferior to him or to their to their race. It's as simple as that. When are we going to accept that? When is other people going to sit down and start debating as to which of the African culture is good? You're never going to see Arab people debating among themselves as to which of the African cultures that they should adopt. They will never do that for their own good. No, the Chinese would do that. So why are we fighting among ourselves as to which of the Arab culture is the best or which of the European culture? Because the other day I saw two Africans fighting. One was Sunni Muslim, one was Shia Muslim. Africans fighting over that. And I ask myself, when am I going to see two Arabs fighting among themselves because of an African culture? Which one is good or which one is bad? And same thing, whatever, Roman Catholic and then SDA, two Ghanaians fighting among themselves because of somebody else's culture. And my question is, when are we going to put value on our own selves? When are we going to wake up to the realization that this world, it belongs to everybody, and wherever that nature puts you, any part of the world, nature will show you how to communicate with her. Nature will give you your own way of life. And then if you put value on your own way of life, on what nature has given to you, man will put value on you. But as long as you wake up every day demonizing who you are, demonizing your own culture, your own tradition, calling your ancestors names and all that kind of stuff, nobody would ever respect you. Because sometimes we tend to call our ancestors, said our ancestors were demonic, they were idol worshippers and all that. Everybody ancestors were idol worshippers until today. Whatever they give to you to make you think that yours is demonic, is also idol worshipping. Go deeper than what you have been taught, and then you will realize that whatever rituals, whatever cultural, religious, whatever they give to you as an African, is their own traditions and culture that they deify and give to you. Because as I said, religion is nothing but a deification of other people's culture that they give to you. If we as Dagomba people were so strong enough to deify our gods and our culture and give it to other people, I am telling you, today, people will be worshipping and then going to northern part of Ghana in the Dagbang Kingdom to glorify our ancestors. But it is not in the brain of the black man to do that. We don't impose our culture on other people. And today, other people has imposed their culture on us. And then when people come out to talk and to tell you there is nothing wrong being a Dagomba man, a proud Dagomba man, I'm not telling you to run away from yourself as a Dagomba man, or as a Fanti man, or as an Akan man, or as an Igbo man. But you are attacking somebody for telling you to love your Igbo culture. What is wrong with the black man? When are we ever going to wake up to the realization and then to accept this reality that we are who nature wants us to be, and then we should be proud of ourselves for that? Okay, bro Eze, I will bring you in. Yeah, I'll bring you in, bro Eze. Yeah. So I wasn't really ready for this, but it's just mind-boggling that we are living in a world of today that everybody all over the world, every race is beginning to come to the realization that they were created in the image of God, and then they should be proud of themselves. But we as Africans still think that it was by mistake that God wanted to create us Chinese. Today you see Africans bearing Chinese names purposely because China has become stronger. Today you see Africans, Ghanaians, changing their African names to Indian names. Why? Because everything about us is not good, but everything about somebody else is better. Why? Who did that to us? That we always think that anybody who comes to Africa and tell us that God said he should say this to us, and then we should abandon our names and our culture, the person is right. Everybody is right when it comes to their culture and traditions. We are the only people on this planet who are not right. As I said, we are not saying other people, what they have is bad. It's good for them. What we also have should be good for us. We should be proud of it. In my language, in Dagomba language, they say you don't point your left finger into your father's house. No matter how it is, that is yours. No matter how bad your father's house is, that is yours. You have to work hard. You don't leave your father's house because it's wretched, just to go and be a slave, or to go and be begging somebody because his father, or praising somebody because his father has a mansion. That is not yours. You have to work hard to make yours better. And then when we talk, when we tell brothers, let us come together as Africans, and then let us also put dignity on ourselves. We have been marginalized for so long. Why? Because we have abandoned everything that is us and adopting things that is not us. And then the only way we can be respected is when we sat in the table and then be proud of who we are as African people. Other people will be proud of us. As I'm saying, we are not the only people who went through colonialism and then slavery and all that. But one thing the rest of the world did, China, India, they keep hold to their traditions and culture. But we have, for some reason, lost everything. And then today, the Cultural Revolution is out. And then people are now beginning to understand that, after all, God is not a white man. After all, God is not a European man. God is not an Arab man. After all, whatever God creates you, he created you in his own image. And if I tell you you are an Akan man, so God created you as an Akan in his own image, and then you're telling me, no, he wanted to create me as Israelis, and then or European, and unfortunately he created me as an Akan. So for that matter, I want to be a second-class Israelis. Or if I tell you that you are an Igbo man, and then it was God's intention, nature intention, to create you an Igbo and then give you your values and culture, and then you are telling me, no, it is not true, and then say you are lying. God wanted to create me as a European, and for that matter, it was by mistake that he created me an Igbo. So I want to be a second-class Israelis or Israelian, or whatever the name it may be. Or if I tell you that you are a Yoruba man, you have a great culture. You are a Dagomba man, you have a great culture. Why can't you hold and promote your culture? And then you're telling me, no, it's not true, Anzanzi, you are lying. God wanted to create me as an Arab man. That is why I'm walking around with my name called Yakub. So if what you are saying is not true, I should be giving homage, paying homage to the Arab culture. And then for that matter, you telling me that as a Dagomba man or as a Yoruba man, I should respect my values, put values on my culture. It's a lie. You know, we have to deprogram the programming that that mental slavery that they program in us, that we are so scared to hear and put values on our own self. And then we expect other people to respect us. That's what I don't understand. Because in this world, you can't expect me to respect you when you don't respect yourself. And as I said, the only way you can be respected is when you put value on your culture and traditions. It's as simple as that. Everybody got one, wherever you are, wherever nature puts you, whatever geographical location that nature puts you, nature will show you how to communicate and to live in harmony with her. Nature will teach you how to live in harmony with her. Nature taught the Chinese, and they're keeping hold to that. Nature taught the Europeans how to live in harmony with her through their traditions and values and culture, and they are holding on to that. Nature taught the Indians, and then you can see holding on to that. Nature is proud of them, and nature is improving their way of life. But us, nature has given us everything culturally. Everything nature has given it to us. But in return, what are we paying nature back? We are telling nature that no, it's wrong. We were supposed to be Europeans. So as long as you didn't create us Europeans, we'll go and adopt their culture. Well, maybe it was forced on our ancestors. Fine. What about me and you today? Today, me and you, we know the reality. We know the reality that putting value on our own selves, adopting our own culture, adopting our own names, is the only way we'll be respected. That is the only way. Because just imagine you walk into a room. Your name is Mohammed. There's an Arab man sitting down. His name is Mohammed. The two of you sat together. And then in the reception, somebody walk in and call Mohammed. Are they calling the Arab man Mohammed, or they are calling you the African? Who is the original one? Just think about that. You are an Igbo man. You are in the airport holding a passport. Your name is John. The European man name is John. They call John. Who are they calling? But if your name was to be Eze or Chinedi, if they call, they will know who like immediately you get in tune with that. They will know exactly who they are calling, because that is you, your original self. But you have abandoned it, you have buried it, your original self, and you go and take John. So when they call John, who is the original one and who is the artificial one? You are the one, you the African calling yourself John. So it's about time we began to accept this reality that we as African people, if we don't wake up and put value on ourselves and put value on our culture, and the only way we can put value on ourselves is when we put value on our culture. If we don't wake up to that realization, I am telling you, 50, 100 years to come, people will still see us the same way as they see us today. Because nobody will not respect you if you don't respect yourself. It wasn't by any mistake or by any chance that God has put in us in that particular location, geographical location in the world, and provide us everything. Nature has provided us everything, and yet, come to think of it, and yet we are the poorest among the poorest in the world, even though nature has given us everything. Why is it that? Maybe we have abandoned nature because we don't communicate with nature the way she wants us to do. And in return, we are messed up. And it's about time we wake up to the realization and then accept the fact that if we don't respect ourselves, nobody wouldn't respect us. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. The Chinese are respected today because they never abandoned, no matter what they went through, they never abandoned their culture and tradition. The Europeans, for them, we can't even talk, because they even love their culture to the extent that they have to export it and force it on other people. But when they were forcing it on other people, some people reject it and refuse to accept it. People like those in India, no matter how they try to enforce it on them, they refuse it, because they realize that immediately you walk away from your traditions and culture, you have walking away from yourself. You have walking away from yourself, and as long as immediately you walk away from yourselves, you will never be respected, and then you will never gain grounds in the communities of this world. Never. You wouldn't gain it. They knew it. That's why they did that. They did that to us. And then it's about time we change all that. It's about time we wake up to the realization and then to accept the fact that the world is moving, and then we must also move. And then the only way we can join the rest of the world to move is put value on ourselves, no matter how it is. I see a lot of people going on social media, demonizing our culture, calling our culture's names, and then saying all sorts of things about us. And at the end of the day, that is what you have. And then you must brand it and make it beautiful for the rest of the world to see. Not because of them, but because of you yourself. Because as long as you hold on to your culture, your tradition, and put values on it, you will be respected. It's as simple as that. People will value you. Just imagine when you are outside of Africa, and then like you dress like an African. Look at how people see you. It just tells you that if we hold on to what we have, we'll be respected. But if we walking around with other people's names, other people's culture, and then people are telling us, the people who come out, people like Eze Efaichukwu, people like Ejele, and then people like Mazi, and then people like Avram Ben Moshe, when they come out to tell us that, you know what, it's about time we, the new generation of Africans, also realize and put value on ourselves, put value on our culture. And then they are rather the target. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us? These people are not telling us to hate ourselves. These people are not telling us to take guns and kill ourselves. These people are just telling us to put value on ourselves, to love each other. And that is bad, black man. And then you think that is not good. People who are encouraging us to like have self-esteem. Because the more you value yourself, the more you value your culture, the more you value yourself. And the more you value yourself, the more your self-esteem like become higher. That is why you see our people, our presidents and all that, they go about selling our countries to people who doesn't look like them. Because you don't have value for yourself, you can sell out anything for nothing. You don't have value for your culture. So please, Africans, let us stop demonizing who we are. Let us stop demonizing our culture and our traditions, and then put value on it. Because that is the only way we can be respected. That is the only way we can be appreciated. And that is the only way we can sit in the nations of the world and then also have a voice. Because when we go to like as I said, when we go to the UN, bearing other people's name, one side, one African president is bearing an Arabian name, one is bearing European name, one is even bearing Chinese name. Why? What do you think Chinese will help will respect you? Do you think Arabs will respect you? No. Do you think anybody will respect you? No. But if you go there with your own African self, you will be respected no matter how it is. We have to get it. We have to get it, because everybody go out there representing themselves. Everybody go out there in the world representing themselves. Only Africans, we are going out there not representing ourselves. And then we're still not getting it. Chinese people go out there. They go out there to represent China and the values of China. Indians go outside out there to represent India and the values of India. Europeans doing the same thing. Only we Africans, we go out there, no representation. We are not representing the values and culture of Africa. And then we expect people to respect us. We expect people to respect us. It's never going to happen. It will not happen. You can only be respected when you respect yourself, as I said. And then we still bringing out generation of people that we are lowering down their self-esteem, teaching them how important it is to have a European name, how important it is to have a Chinese name, how important it is to have an Arab name, but how demonic it is to be walking around with an African name. An African telling, I follow African, how demonic it is to have an African name. Why? Because a Chinese man come to China or an Arab man come to Africa and tell you that your name is demonic, but his name is godly. And then you accept it. And then you expect him to respect you. Why will he respect you? Because if you can think, you will ask him, what makes yours godly and makes mine demonic? And as I said, if our ancestors didn't ask those kind of questions, it's about time we ask that questions. It's as simple as that. Our ancestors were not able to ask those questions. Fine, they made a mistake. But what about me and you today? What are we doing to bring an end? What are we doing to bring an end to this humiliation that we are going through all over the world? What are we doing? Fine, our ancestors were wrong. They didn't get it right. Okay? They got it wrong. They accepted what was not theirs. And because of that, it has put them down. And then we are paying the consequences. We are suffering because of the decisions, the wrong decisions our ancestors made. Let's take it. Okay, we take it. We accept it. But what about me and you today? What are we doing to make sure that the next generation, our children, will not be walking around with other people's values and culture? Our children will be walking around, be proud of themselves. What are we doing? We are not doing. So in that case, we are worse than our ancestors, because for some reason, or we can say, we can give an excuse that there were guns pointed onto our ancestors' head to accept it or die. Those of them who refused to accept it were killed. Then those of them who were scared accepted it. That is why we are here today, suffering the consequence of the decisions some of our ancestors took. Fine, I understand. But what about me and you today? What are we doing to make sure that our children wouldn't be walking around with bearing Chinese names, bearing Indian names. Today I see Africans, Ghanaians calling themselves Aham, Ashim, Shiva, an African. So all the beautiful Igbo names we have, all the beautiful Yoruba names we have, all the beautiful names we have in Africa, Akan names, Dagomba names, and Fulani names, all the beautiful names we have in Africa, you could not choose one that will represent you. You go as far as India to go and call yourself Hakam, Hashim. And then you think you are better than your ancestors? You think you are better than your ancestors just because you have been able to adopt a Chinese name? Today, Africans are called Li, Shu. And then they think they are more wiser than their ancestors. Are we really getting it as an African people? I think it's about time we wake up to the realization that the only way we can also make a contribution and be valued and be respected on this planet Earth is when we value our culture. Black people all over the world will be free if Africans free Africa. Because everybody, Black Americans, Black Europeans, Black Asians, whatever, they are all looking up to Africa. And yes, and yet Africans are messing up and then looking up to Europeans. Africans are looking up to Chinese. Africans are looking up to Arabs for their salvation. Your salvation will only come from you as African people. For God's sake, for goodness sake, you are the first creation. You are the mothers and fathers of everybody. So how come everybody can get it right? How come everybody can get it right? You alone cannot. You alone got it wrong. Is God that racist? Because there seems to making God look racist. God has been able to send a divine messenger to the Arabs. God has been able to send a divine messenger to the Chinese to tell them to hold on to their Chinese culture and their Chinese tradition. God has been able to send a divine messenger to the Europeans to tell the Europeans to hold on to their culture, to their traditions. God has been able to send divine messengers all over the world to every race, except for you, the black man. And then you accepted it. Except for you, the black man. That for you alone, God could not send nobody. Even though the ones that God gives to you, people come to you and tell you that it's demonic. So you have to leave it and adopt their own. Do you know what that means? For you to leave your own culture and traditions and values and adopt somebody else, it simply means you are putting your own spirit, your inner spirit to sleep. This thing, brother Soyini taught me that as long as you leave your culture, your tradition, and go out there and adopt somebody else's culture and traditions, now your African spirit, which is within you, will now go to sleep. Hear it. It will now go to sleep. And then the culture that you adopt, that spirit will now awakening in you. So you will be an African, but you'll be acting like an Arab. Your actions, your everything will be like an Arab, because the Arab spirit that you adopted has now put your African spirit into sleep, and then that Arab sleep has awakening in you, so it will be leading you to do things that does not look like you. That got nothing to do with you. Same thing if you are an African and then you become a Christian, you've been baptized, giving you a European name, and then you now adopt the European culture and everything. Your African spirit that you were born with it, that nature has given to you, will now go to sleep. It will now sleep. Then the European culture and tradition and whatever that you adopted, that European spirit will now awakening in you. So you will now see everything European, beautiful, nice, perfect. But your own, you will now see it to be nothing. That's the same thing today when you see Africans who are adopting Indian culture, who are calling themselves Akam, Hashim, whatever. You can see the love they have for India because they have now adopted an Indian spirit that has awakening in them, and then that has now putting their African spirit into sleep. So you see them putting values and then glorifying everything India. It is as simple as that. So for you to awakening that our African spirit, that because of somebody else's culture, somebody else's religion, that has put your African spirit into sleep, you have to now work harder. You have to now work harder to be able to awaken in the African spirit. So most of you guys, kings and queens watching me right now here, your African spirit is awakening. So things that I'm talking about here, you can understand because the African spirit has now been awakening. But those who have adopted the European, the Arab, and the whatever culture, Chinese culture and Indian culture, because their African spirit is sleeping, if they get me and you, they will even want to kill us. Purposely because they are not reasoning with their African spirit, they are reasoning with other people's spirit because they adopted other people's culture. That is why you see somebody coming to attack our brother Ezenata, purposely because he's telling you, let's love each other, let's put value on ourselves. And then you wonder, why is he doing that? He's doing that he's doing that because he is not in himself or herself. He's doing that because the spirit, the Arab or the Chinese or the whatever spirit that he's adopted is now awakening in him. And then his African spirit is at sleep. So he is ready to do everything to defend the spirit that he has adopted, whether it is being Indian spirit or Chinese spirit or whatever, or European spirit or Arabian spirit. He will do everything to defend it. And he will do everything to demonize his own because his own is at sleep. So please, let us, brothers and sisters, let us work hard to awaken our African spirit. Let us work hard to awaken our African spirit. If not, we will never be respected. No matter how you think that your African culture or tradition is demonic, no matter how you think that is demonic, please, it is yours. It is still yours, and then you have to work hard to make it better. That is what everybody is doing. Nobody culture is superior to other, and nobody culture is divine. Anybody who comes to you to your village and tells you that God has spoken to him and then his culture is divine, is better than yours, is lying. Why God didn't tell you that? Why God should tell him to come and tell you? You are an African. You live in Igbo land, a beautiful land, an ancient land, and somebody from nowhere just come to you and tells you that the culture that nature has given to you for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, he just came to you 400, 500 years ago and tells you that yours is demonic and then his is godly. And then you believe that. Can we use our brain? Let us use our brain as African people. I keep asking that question. The Arab people came to us. They tell us that God is one, Allah is one. And then if we want to know Allah, we should come to Saudi Arabia, and then they will teach us how Allah looks like. And then we're spending money to go there. Fine. The Europeans came. They came with their cousin. And then they arrogantly give us the picture of their cousin. And then tell us that this is how God looks like. And then if we want to understand, if we want to know him, we should come to Rome. And then they will teach us how God looks like. And then we were stupid enough to take it. And the most annoying part of it is the Jewish people. They came to us and tell us that they are the chosen people, that God has chosen them over us. And then we take it. What about us? Who are we? So are you trying to tell me that for us, for thousands and millions of years that we've been existing, God could not have revealed herself or himself to us? We have to wait for thousands and millions of years for somebody to just come yesterday to tell us that God has revealed himself to them and that everything that we have is not good and everything that they have is good, is perfect. And as I said, depending what time it is. Today, it's the time of the Chinese. Today, Africans are adopting Chinese culture. Today, the Chinese too will come and tell us that their culture is godly. And I'm telling you, African people will accept it. Just like today, a lot of Africans are adopting to Indian culture because economically, India is also doing good now. Why are we doing this to ourselves as an original people of this planet Earth? For God's sake, why are we doing this to ourselves? I think it's about time we wake up to the realization that if we don't put value to ourselves or on ourselves, nobody else will do it. Nobody is not going to do it for us. Nobody is waiting for us. Everybody is moving faster. We are alone. We are the only people who go about praising and then glorifying other people's culture. People who doesn't even love us. People who doesn't even want the best of you. They don't want anything good for you. But you glorify them. You think that whatever they have is super, and what we have is nothing. Yes, bro. Bro T, Nati, let us awaken our African spirit. Let us awaken our African spirit. We cannot be going around the world with other people. It's sickness. It's sickening that you'll be going around, walking around, an African walking around with a name that does not look like him, that does not represent him. He doesn't even know the meaning of the name, but he's walking around with that name. That is amnesia. That's sickness. For you as an African to be walking around calling yourself Lee, what's the meaning of that? Chu, that's Chinese people name. Far East, Akam, Hashim, Maha. Even whatever it is, even if it is a good name, you have similar names in Africa. Adopt one of that. If I had gone and adopt an Arabic name or Chinese name or European name, people will be proud of it. But if I adopt an Igbo name as an African, people will be questioning me. Or if I give my son an Igbo name, which he is part of them, people will be questioning me as to why I give my son an Igbo name. But if I go and call my son Jonathan, then then people will not see anything wrong with that. Yeah. So because of our African spirit is sleeping, and then we are now adopt other people's spirit, as I said. Because of that, you see self-hate among us. That is why you see in South Africa we kill our brothers and sisters. But we leave those that we adopt their spirit. You will see an Indian man walking on the street. He is a foreigner. But in South Africa, when you hear foreigners, if it is not another African, it is another African. Foreigners. It means it's a Nigerian, it's a Ghanaian, it's a Zimbabwean, somebody who look like him. He is ready to kill that person. Why? Because his African spirit is asleep. And he has not adopted a spirit that is using him uselessly. That is why you see that in Ghana, when you hear foreigners, they are not referring to the real foreigners, people who doesn't look like them, who are the foreigners, bleaching the land, taking their resources for thousands of years. They are not referring to them. They are referring to their own people, maybe from Togo, from Nigeria, from whatever. The same thing in Nigeria. When we say foreigners, we are not referring to the Chinese. We are not referring to the Europeans. We are referring to our own. How on earth can you call your own a foreigner? Purposely because, as I said, your African spirit is at sleep, awakening that African giant in you. And then you realize that a Nigerian can never be a foreigner in South Africa. If you awaken that African spirit in you, you realize that a South African can never be a foreigner in Zimbabwe. But as long as that African spirit has been put to sleep by religion or anything, or other people's culture, you will always see in it everything that looks like you bad. And then everything that is ready to destroy you good. It's unfortunate, but that is our reality as African people. We have allowed our African spirit to sleep purposely because other people came to fool us to think that whatever we have that is connecting us with our spirit is bad. That is our culture, our tradition. Our culture and tradition was not given to us by anybody. It was given to us by Mother Nature, who created us and put us in all the geographical locations in Africa. That is the connection between us and our Creator. But we allow other people to come from Asia. We allow other people to come from Arabia. We allow other people to come from Europe to put that spirit to sleep. And because that spirit is sleeping, everything about us is demonic, is bad. And everything about them is... My brother SAX. Oh, what can I do without you, bro? You are such a package of wisdom. May the ancestors continue to give you more wisdom. And then we continue to learn from you, bro. Yeah. So as I'm saying, brothers and sisters, Africa, Africans, it's about time we wake up to the realization that without our culture, without our traditions, we are going nowhere and we will never be respected. Never. And then if we adopt our African culture and traditions today, I am telling you, the world will respect us because we have everything that to be respected culturally, traditionally, like resources in resources base. We have everything that the world should respect us because of that. But because we are abandoning it and then adopting other people's culture, how can an African be walking around with the name Mo, you know, with the name Hashim, whatever? Are you Indian? No. Are you Chinese? No. Are you Arabian? No. So all the beautiful names, as I'm saying about Africa, you don't see anything good. Is the F.I. Chuku. How beautiful that sounds. How that can connect you with your African self. But you don't see anything good about that. You think John. And then when we talk, as I said, you think John is the best for you. And then when we talk, as we said, and then the sad thing is, most of these names that they give to us are also names for their gods. They are names of their gods. So you wake up every day, you are praising their gods, you are worshiping their gods, and then you think like you're doing something special, even though you have abandoned your own. In my language as a Dagomba man, we have the names like Bobia. Bobia simply means child of the gods. Bobia, child of the gods. Our ancestors used to have that name, child of the gods. But the Arabians came to us and then tell us that Bobia is a bad name. It's not good. It's an evil name because the gods are not good. But they give us Abdullah. Abdullah, which when you translate it also means servant of the gods. So child of the gods, servant of the gods. They tell you that your name, child of the gods, is bad, but they give you Abdullah, which means servant of the gods, and then you abandon yours and then adopt their own. So you put yours into sleep, and then you adopt Abdullah, which also means servant of the gods. Which gods? Arabian gods. Bobia means child of the gods. Which gods? African gods. So you have demonized the African gods and said it's a bad one. So you put it to sleep, but you adopt Abdullah, which also means servant of the gods. Which gods? Gods that does not represent you. So you'll be walking around with too many problems. No wonder we hate ourselves. No wonder we kill each other. Purposely because the gods in us, the spirit in us is not ours. And when people like Avram Ben Moshe, when people like Eze X, when people like Brother Ezenata, when they come out to tell you that, brothers, let us love, let us adopt and accept who we are. It is not by chance, by mistake that nature has created us who we are. And then these are the people you're looking for to bring down. Black people, when are we going to wake up? We still don't get it. It's about time we wake up to the realization and then to the truth that nobody will wait for us to wake up. We have to wake ourselves up. The Chinese will not wake us up. The Europeans will not do that. If they're given the opportunity, they will rather even put us into more slumber. Because the more we sleep, the more they take advantage of us. So if I come to tell you that we should wake up together and then make Africa great, we can do it. But we can only do it if we put value on ourselves. If we put value on our land. If we see our land as holy and don't see other people's lands as holy, and then don't pay billions and billions of cedis to go to other people's land thinking that it's holy. If we do that, then Africa will be a better place for all Africans. But if we don't do that, and then we keep thinking that other people are holy and then we are demonic, then I am telling you, may the ancestors forbid. But the generation we're gonna leave behind, gonna suffer the same thing we are suffering today. May the ancestors forbid. This is a cultural revolution. This is a cultural revolution, and then we must make sure that there will be consequences. I've already been a victim of this revolution. I have already been a victim, a serious victim of this revolution, but I don't care. I don't care. I know the very first day when I was awakening, I know those whose spirit are still sleeping will come over me, after me. But I don't blame them. As I said, their African spirit is sleeping. I could have done worse what they are doing to me maybe some years back. I could have done worse. But I've realized that when your African spirit is awakening, you have to understand the one who African spirit is still sleeping. He's attacking you not because he knows what he's doing. They're attacking us because they don't even realize what they are doing. Because they are not even Africans. Because when we move by the spirit, and then when your spirit is sleeping, and then your Arab spirit is at work, you are moving as an you may be looking black, but inside you, all of your actions are Arabian actions. That's why you see Boko Haram doing those terrorizing our people. And then you ask yourself, why would they do that? They are doing that because the spirit that is using them is not an African spirit. The spirit that is using them is not an African spirit. That is why you see them doing those kind of horrific things to their own people. If they had an African spirit like SAS has an African spirit, if they have an African spirit like Ezenata has an African spirit, if they have an African spirit like Soyine have an African spirit, will they do that? No. Nobody who loves Africa will want to see an Africa suffer. Nobody. But those who are putting us into all this horrific terrorizing our people are people who African spirit is at sleep. And until it wake up, they will continue to do it, and then we the awakening shouldn't be surprised. So brothers and sisters, I don't know if I can bring some of you in. I'm new to this. No. Who can I invite? Bro, you wanted me to invite you, but I can't see you here, brother. Chizozi Eze. I can't see you. Yeah, I can't see you, brother Chizozi Eze. Like, I wanted to invite you. Or brother Ezenata, do you want to come in? Maybe let me see if I can invite you. Yeah, if not, maybe we'll just end it here. But as they said, life, Africans, we have to wake up to the realization. We have to get it. We still don't get it, because life is how you use what you have, and not how you use what other people have. You know, life is how you use what you have, and then we must use what we have to make our lives as African people better. That is how life is. It's about how you use what you have, and not how you use what other people have. Because we have been using what other people have, and it has never helped us. We have been using what other people have. It has never helped us. So if we really want to improve our lives, if we really want to move forward as African people, then we must start and begin to use what we have. Yes. Okay, let me see if I can bring brother in. Yeah. Um. Uh, bro, I can see you. You know, it is very true. Yeah, I can see you. So maybe I wouldn't I wouldn't continue. Well, it's we spent some time here, and the only thing my only message for today is Africans, we African people, we have to wake up to the realization of the cultural revolution. There is a worldwide cultural revolution, and black people all over the world are looking up to Africa to also wake up to that realization. Today, everybody is kind of like teaching their children to be proud of who they are all over the world. Chinese, Indians, Europeans, everybody is be proud of themselves. It is only us who are adopting other people's culture. It is only us who are adopting other people's traditions and then demonizing ours and calling ours demonic and all that. But nobody culture is demonic. Do not let anybody lie to you. Your Dagomba culture, your Igbo culture, your Yoruba culture is divine, and it is what's given to you by nature. It was given to you by God. So do not allow anybody else to come from somewhere, wherever they may come from. They could come from Arabia, they could come from Europe, they could come from anywhere to tell you that your culture is demonic. Nobody culture is demonic. And then you should be proud of yourself. You should be proud of your culture. The world will only respect you if you've put value on yourself. And then your value will come from your culture and traditions, because that is what nature has given to you. It wasn't given to you by anybody. So do not let anybody take it away from you. Your values and your values, traditions and culture was not given to you by anybody. Do not let anybody take it away from you. So thank you everybody for coming around. We'll be coming frequently these days. We have more time to do more live videos. So I thank everybody for coming around. May the ancestors, the gods of Africa, continue to bless us. And then may the gods of Africa wake up our sleeping brothers and sisters, for them to realize that nobody is calling for hatred. Nobody is preaching hatred. We are only calling them to love themselves. And as long as we all as African people began to awaken and to accept that we are Africans, and then we should be proud of whatever we have that God has given to us, then the rest of the world will put value on us, and the world will be a better place for everybody, not for a group of people. The world will be a better place for all of us. Thank you very much for coming around. May God bless, may the ancestors bless all of us. Peace.